Kevin, is Miles back today?
He's not. But he's excused.
Do you know how long?
I don't.
How big is it to get himself back?
Yeah, it's great. He's been working very hard inside and out here, so ready to get back on the field. And obviously, we're excited to get back out there.
Is he a full go then, Kevin? Will he be doing everything?
Not just yet, but we'll work him along appropriately.
Would he be full go by Thursday, Friday?
We'll see.
Kevin, how do you approach these kind of practices leading up to the joint practices? Is it sort of a build-up into those?
I wouldn't call it a build-up, no. I think those practices are we know the value in them, but also we're still in training camp mode, so we got to work independent of those days coming up here. I think those will be a couple really good days for all three sides of the ball to measure yourself up against another team, a playoff team. But for now, it's really about training camp.
Talking about those 2 days, Kevin, you've mentioned, and we've heard the players talk about the importance. Have you had that conversation almost say, like, we want to get our work in, we want to have those really good days, or is it kind of an unspoken part?
I've talked to a few of the players about it. The guys that were here last year kind of know the program and how it works, and guys coming from different teams, a lot of people are doing similar programs. But, yeah, there's great value in it, and we feel like week 2 is the right time to do it.
Hey, Kevin, I know you told us that Jacoby Brissett won't play against the Eagles. Will Deshaun play?
I'm not ready to say that just yet.
Kevin, several teams are doing 2 joint practices. The Eagles are one of them. Did you explore that, or are you good with
You're saying like last week or next week?
Yeah, next week too.
Yeah, I feel like week 2 is the best week to do it. I think week 1, you're still in your installation, and week 3 we treat as a regular season dress rehearsal, if you will. So just felt like we feel like week 2 is the right time to do it.
Kevin, with your strength in the past using the tight ends as much, is there any clarity beyond the top 2? Like, do you feel like you know what you have in that group?
I think we have a bunch of good players in there. I don't know if there's clarity per se of the depth chart, but I think those type of things will play themselves out over the next few weeks.
Kevin, it looked like Jacoby had a pretty sharp day yesterday, just from our vantage point. Obviously, the NFL is pushing for a tougher suspension of Deshaun. If it ends up being a lot more than 6 games, what's your confidence level in Jacoby as potentially your starter for an entire season?
Yeah, Jake, I think he's been sharp since April. So I've been very impressed by Jacoby, very comfortable with him. I think understand his skill set, and I think he has a very good understanding of what we're trying to do offensively.
We talked to Stump earlier, and he was saying that neither
Jeff.
neither Nick Chubb nor Kareem have reached their potential.
Yeah.
And then he talked about also getting
Yeah.
78 to 80 offensive plays a game. Is that realistic?
Well, we'll see. I do think he's right that those 2 haven't reached their potential. I hope none of us have reached our potential. But 2 really good football players. We talked about it a lot, and we think we have a good plan for both of those guys to impact the games, because that's ultimately what they do.
Kevin Stump said it's patience with Kareem, just letting blockers set up, etc. Is he leaving yards out there by just being maybe too aggressive at times?
I think Stump, as you know, challenges our guys and wants them to be their best. So that probably speaks to Stump's going to give every player something that they can work on each year and push them. And it doesn't matter if you're a 6-year pro, a rookie, Stump's going to push you. So having said that, Kareem's a very good football player, has been very productive for us. But we do want to make sure that he has the mindset that he has to improve.
He also mentioned trying to get Nick and Kareem together on the field. And I know we talked about this a bunch, but how disappointing, I guess, was it that you couldn't do it more last year just because the guys weren't healthy at the same time?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a balance. Obviously, you got to have both guys healthy, and then you want to make sure that you're maximizing both of them. And there will be times where we're able to do that, and there's times where we want one guy to be out there and one guy to be resting and to be fresh for when it's their turn. So there's a couple different ways to do it, but first things first is having both guys available.
Kevin, I know we always ask you about Demetric going back and forth between the receivers and the running backs. Stump talked a little bit about it today, but just how have you seen him kind of go between those 2 worlds, I guess, when you've had him there?
Yeah, he's done a very nice job of it, and that's part of his value to this football team is he can play receiver for us, he can play running back for us. He's done both in games. He's done it in practice where he's with the running backs and individual, practicing as wide receiver. So I just think there's inherent value in having that player who's able to do both because, number one, it helps you from a depth standpoint, but number two, it helps you from the defense having to treat him either as a running back or as a wide receiver. And if they do one or the other, you can hopefully have an attack based on their plan.
Kevin, we've asked you this about Bill, but with Stump, he's the guy that you kept after you took this job. How important has it been to have him in the building over these last 3 years?
Yeah, I really value Stump's opinion. I value his ability to coach. He played this game at the NFL level. He's been a head coach in college. He's been a position head coach. So I just think he brings a lot of wisdom to our staff and toughness to our team.
Kevin, we talked to Nick Sirianni this week about structuring it, or is this something months ago and you just don't need?
Yeah, months ago. Yeah, you have the general framework. Nick's done this with a bunch of teams over the last couple of years. They may have done it even last week. So we have a general framework, and then we have touched base with the coordinators, and I've touched base with Nick, and then we'll finalize exactly what we want it to look like.
So will they leave a lot of their starters out of the game too, you think, after these 2 days?
I believe that's their plan, yes.
You have any old Eagles gear from your youth?
Nothing that fits. No, yeah, always. I know a lot of people in that organization, coaches, staff, so excited to see all those guys.
Who's your favorite Eagles player?
Reggie White, the minister of defense. That's an easy one.
First jersey?
Yes, first jersey.
Still have it?
I don't still have it. It was a white T-shirt with marker written 92 and white. That's true.